In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about cooking basics, and then we're going to take a look at all of the recipes that I have found so far. For any of you who are familiar with my channel, you'll know that I always do an associated Google workbook with every game that I do. For Cairn, that workbook includes all of the recipes that I have found and their associated stats, along with other stuff that'll be in there. To start, cooking makes raw ingredients have better stats and can give you more space in your backpack since you're combining multiple items into one. Be sure to forage and loot everything that you can. Plants like dandelions and thistle become food when cooked, whereas plants like nettles, gentian, and raspberries become a new liquid that you can use for either just straight drinking or cooking with. And whether a plant becomes a food or a liquid is in the Google workbook as well. I have all that listed out as to what each ingredient can become. Any food you loot along the way, like freeze-dried veggies, oats, trout, the instant noodles that she starts with, can be cooked with any of those liquids, and different liquids can give different stats. When cooking, you can use one liquid and one food. And if you visited a nearby stream already, you can refill any water bottles without leaving the tent. You can see above the clear water box a triangle prompt to fill from the nearby spring. So go ahead and do that. Note that you cannot fill any bottles that are already filled or partially filled with something other than straight plain water. Like this goat milk that's in a reusable bottle, it's not full. It has only 2 out of the 3 servings available, but I can't top that up with water because it's not water. And the chocolate drink, if this was 1 out of 2, I couldn't just top that off with water. You can only do it with just water bottles. So once a food is cooked, you can't add anything more to it. So these are the ingredients we can cook with. But you'll notice I have a bunch of cooked dishes already. Once you cook a dish, it's no longer available as an ingredient. So what we do is build up a liquid to have the buffs that you want and then use that liquid to cook the food items with. Some food items or combinations have a designation, such as herbal or extra sweet. Like this goat milk has herbal. Goat milk has extra sweet. I have 2 different types. Kind of thing. And while I haven't noticed herbal giving any specific food buffs, extra sweet items do tend to give the burst buff. Here, like this one, which is the running man, which increases movement speed when both walking and climbing. You can create extra sweet liquids by adding raspberries, raspberry juice, or honey to a dish. Chocolate items tend to give focus, which is the lungs icon. That increases stamina recovery rate, reduces the delay before limbs start recovering. And reduces the delay before limbs start recovering. Dandelions, which I don't have on me in this file, tend to give grit. That's the shield icon. It decreases damage from the environment, such as fall damage or negates sprinting damage. And then strong infusions, which I also don't have in this particular file, but we will see in the recipe workbook, tend to give grip. That's the hands icon. It increases grip strength. Limbs get tired slower and are compatible with more surfaces. So we're going to go ahead and make raspberry juice. Individually, raspberries only give like 5 energy. When combined with simple water, though, we'll use this water. You can see up in the top right, I have made this recipe before. So the game is like, hey, you made this recipe before. This is what it gives, just so that you know. So when combined with simple water, though, you get raspberry juice, which is 10 energy, 20 hydration, and 40 what I call warmth, which is the clearly better use of raspberries than just eating them straight. And while I made the raspberry juice in a bottle, you can make it in her canteen, which then you would have available to drink while climbing, instead of having to get into the backpack and take a drink if you want. I always like to put raspberry juice or something in her canteen, but we didn't this time. Okay, so now, while raspberry juice isn't considered extra sweet, adding raspberry juice to another item does make them extra sweet, which will then give the burst buff. So I'm going to use raspberry juice, and we're going to cook some thistle with it, which I wouldn't eat raw. So cooked thistle, when made with plain water, gives 20 health, 20 energy, and 40 warmth, which is exactly the same. However, since we cooked this with raspberry juice instead of water, we also got the burst buff. So go ahead and store that. And now, I'm going to do chocolate drink, which has focus associated with it. And we are going to cook it with instant noodles. Now, I can't say that chocolate instant noodles sounds good, but let's see what happens, because I actually have not cooked this one yet. I know what I think it's going to be, but we'll see. Yeah, extra sweet. Adding chocolate can make things extra sweet as well. And that gave, again, the burst buff. Extra sweet often gives the burst buff. Okay, so there's 2 recipes. So with water, hang on. Let me see if I can find what I've done. So goat milk's already herbal. Gentian tends to make things herbal. So clear water. And this is going to make a gentian infusion. Which is a nice drink. Just gives health and hydration and warmth. It says it improves focus, but you'll notice that the buff is not on there, so be careful with that. Store. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Google Workbook. Okay, in my channel bio and in the description of most of the videos on my channel is a link to my website, emmyjacob.com. And in here is a page called Game Google Workbooks, which is this page right here. So if you scroll down to the Cairn demo and main game, it'll open the workbook. On the cooking sheet, you'll see all of the recipes that I have found so far, that I have come across, how to make them, along with their associated stat information, health, energy, hydration, warmth, and then whether or not there's a buff associated with it. And then some of them have that temperature thing, like that temperature icon. Still not entirely sure what that is, but I've made a note of it. So at the very top of the table is obviously not ingredients that you can cook with. This is all health information. But it's on the cooking sheet solely because they often have health and sometimes they have buff information. So they are here, even though you can't cook with them. Next, I have the vending machine information from the gym. So if you want to know what anything is before you buy it from the vending machine, that's here. The highlighted stuff just means it's different from the demo, because I did have a smaller sheet for the demo, and some of the values, they did make changes between the main game and the demo. So if you have notes, your own personal notes about stuff between like the demo, from the demo, note that some things have changed. And just because something's not highlighted doesn't mean it didn't change. It just means I probably didn't try that recipe in the demo, because obviously I didn't try anything. And Gentian wasn't even in the demo. So Gentian was something new. So there's the vending machine. Here's the broken vending machine items that are above the escarpment and what they have. And then we start with the ingredients. This is really like the starting point. This is the raw ingredient information. Their health, energy, hydration, whether or not they have a buff associated with them as is, etc. And then we finally get down to the start of the recipes. The dish created is going to be down this left column in the A column. This is the dish that you end up with after combining the recipe, or not the recipe, but the ingredients across the top. This is a dynamic table. I am adding to it daily. I have not finished the game, so this is going to change along the way. Just so keep that in mind. But if, say for example, you want to make, let me pick something. Chocolate drink extra sweet. You can see that you can see there's a bunch of different ways to make it. I have found 3. I'm quite certain there are more. This is just the ones that I have currently found. And if you pick one, look through and see what ingredients you have. Be like, oh, I have honey. I can make chocolate drink extra sweet because I have honey. What else do I need? Oh, I just need regular chocolate drink. So how do I make chocolate drink? Well, you make chocolate drink with water and chocolate. And then you can use that chocolate drink mixed with honey dipper, and you get chocolate drink extra sweet, which gives you health and energy and hydration and warmth and gives you focus along with burst. It gives you quite a bit of good stuff. Oops. Chocolate drink extra sweet. So the chocolate items tend to give focus. I think I said that earlier. And the extra sweet items tend to give burst. So if we look at things from this way, burst, they're all extra sweet. Chocolate eggs, extra sweet, but raspberry juice, extra sweet. All give burst. So if you want to find, like say you're looking for something that you want more focus. Well, what can I make that has focus in it? Find the rows that have focus, and you can come over here and be like, oh, things with chocolate tend apparently to give focus. So you can make a dish that has chocolate in it. Where's grip? I know I have a grip one. Here's grip. So whatever this is, because it's too wide, but here's grip. These all have grip. So this is strong infusion. Okay, here's a good example of how to figure out what the hell is in strong infusion. So to start, fix that. Strong infusions can be made multiple different ways. A lot of dishes can be made multiple different ways, so keep that in mind. But the first one, let's say Thistle mixed with sweet infusion extra sweet, that makes it. Okay, so what the hell is a sweet infusion extra sweet? Well, come down here. Well, here's sweet infusion extra sweet right here. And look, there's 4 different ways to make it. So look through your ingredients. See if you have enough ingredients from one of the types. You can do nettles with raspberry juice extra sweet. Okay, so how do I make raspberry juice extra sweet? So let's go scroll down. Raspberry juice extra sweet. There's 3 different ways that I've found, and I'm sure there are more, to make things extra sweet. So this is the recipes that I have found so far. It's not all. I have not completed the game, and as every single one of you I'm sure knows, unfortunately, we can only cook in the bivouac tent. And by going in the bivouac tent, you save the file, and you can't load a save from inside the bivouac. So basically what I'm saying is it's not easy to test recipes because I'm on PlayStation. So the only way I can guarantee like a reload save type thing is to utilize the PS Plus cloud save. And that is honestly what I have done to get some of these. I've used all the ingredients, and then I've re-downloaded from the cloud a previous save because I can't get back to where everything's been foraged and just ready to go test out. So I don't have everything, but I do feel like I have a lot. Cooked trout flambéed. So if you find alcohol, and yes, I have found at least one alcohol so far, you can get trout flambéed. That's 50 energy and 2 minutes of grit, 40 warmth. So here you go. If you find that I typoed and I might have put something in health instead of energy or something like that, just drop a comment or something like that. Let me know, because obviously I want it to be correct, but I'm also human and cells are kind of small. So if you see a typo or something like that, if you cook something and you're like, wait a minute, this is in the wrong cell, just let me know and I'll fix it. That kind of thing. So here is all of my recipes that I've found so far. I will be adding to them. Oh, one more thing I want to point out. If you're like, okay, that's great, but where the crap do I get alcohol from? Or where do I get wild garlic from? Or where do I get powdered milk from? You're going to want to check the foraging sheet. I have foraging info. And all along the top is stuff that I have found. And then if it seems to be a one-off, it'll just be in the other side. But this will tell you where I found stuff. So say you want to know where I have found honey. Well, it can be found in the Tenzin, in the demo area, at the hanging from the alcove. I clearly don't have Marco's beehive sunny recipe, but there's actually 2 honey dippers in here. So stuff like that. So it's here. And if you are aware of stuff, let me know. I'll double check it and then add it to the file. Top of the waterfall. There's gentian up there. There's fish. There's 2 different places I know of where you can get fish. Places where I've seen eggs. Which isn't a whole hell of a lot. Some, but protein bars, stuff like that. So, and while I'm not claiming this is 100%, this is a lot of what I found and where I found it. So if you're looking for something specific, you can try over here. Health items are here, actually. So check this out. Again, this is like where the cooking and the recipes are. It's the cooking tab. And I hope that is helpful.